All right, moving on from business, it's time to look at the papers. What's happening across the world? Florence Villeminot joins me. Florence, good morning to you. The world reacting to the Armenian Genocide.
Absolutely. Very many powerful front pages today. Let's take a look at a couple. I pulled out L'Orient Le Jour. I think L'Orient Le Jour really sums up the situation quite well today. It says 100 years after the genocide, Armenians feel the same pain, and Turkey is still playing deaf. Now, it's a big story here in France because, of course, France was actually one of the first countries to recognize the genocide. It's home to a big Armenian community. Let's take a look at the front page of Libération. Libération talks about 100 years of solitude. It says that Armenia's battle for memory is still getting tripped up by Turkey's denial. So 100 years of solitude on the front page of Libération. 100 years of attitude. That's how Politico, the news analysis magazine that has just launched in Europe, describes it. It talks about a clash of cultures. Politico says that Armenia and Turkey have been at war for a century, and they're at it again. Now, it's interesting to see one Turkish paper, how they're talking about that today. That's Commemorate. Commemorate is a center-left opposition paper. Very powerful homepage today. I don't know if we can pull it up, but I checked it out just before coming down here. It's got a black background, actually a title in Armenian that says, "Never Again."
Well, you touched on Turkish papers there. Most, however, are completely ignoring this commemoration.
They're either ignoring it or commemorating something else. This is the front page of Hurriyet Daily News, the English language version. You can see that they're commemorating the centenary of the Battle of Gallipoli, and actually this year the anniversary was moved to coincide with the Armenian anniversary as well. But if you take a look at the top left-hand corner here, you can see that this paper, Hurriyet, actually interviews the president of Armenia. So this is Serge Sargsyan, and he says that Armenia is prepared to normalize its relations with Turkey without any preconditions.
Now, Flo, the word genocide does, however, appear in the Turkish paper.
Absolutely. You can see Daily News talking here in quotes about the word genocide. And of course, it's quoting the Russian president, Vladimir Putin. Now, in a letter to the Kremlin, he described the 1915's massacre as a genocide. He says it was one of the most horrendous and dramatic events in human history, the genocide of the Armenian people. And that comment comes one day after the Austrian parliament issued a similar declaration, and this prompted Turkey to recall its ambassador.
Well, we've been talking this morning about this gaining momentum. Just last night, the German president, Joachim Gauck, again saying, using the G word, if you will, using genocide. Tell us more.
Well, it's a big story in the German press, as you can imagine. So he was speaking at a church service in Berlin, and he not only used the G word, as you said, he also said that Germany bore some responsibility and in some cases was complicit in the genocide. Of course, Germany was one of the allies of the Ottoman Empire during the World War I, or vice versa, if you went, Ottoman Empire was an ally of Germany. Now, what's interesting is that the president actually holds a ceremonial role. He doesn't represent the German parliament, for instance. And actually, his comment comes as the German parliament is just about to open a debate about a motion on the 1915 massacres. And what's interesting is you can read about it all over the German press. Die Welt points out that analysts say that the German parliament is actually expected to vote a very opaque sentence, a sentence that will be unclear enough to keep everyone happy in Germany, because, of course, Germany is home to a very large Turkish community.
It is. Now, one major world leader, if you will, has officially, not recognized genocide.
That's right. This is the U.S. President Barack Obama. But when he was campaigning to be president back in 2008, he promised that he would recognize the Armenian genocide once he was elected. But just like his predecessors, according to the Boston Globe, once he was president, he hasn't said the G word. Why is that? Well, Turkey is a major ally for the U.S. You can see here, this is the editorial of the Boston Globe saying that the U.S. should recognize the Armenian genocide because it goes against all U.S. values. Why is Turkey, though, refusing to call it a genocide? Well, that's what a lot of papers are trying to focus on today as well. The Guardian says, why won't Turkey face the facts? Well, it's hard to admit that a state to which you belong was founded on a crime, and yet there is no redemption without repentance. But I pulled out one last article that's very interesting today in the Huffington Post. It says that recognizing a genocide, using the G word, it's not enough. Every time we recognize a genocide, whether it's Armenia or what happened in former Yugoslavia and Rwanda, we say never again, and yet genocides keep happening. And so the Huffington Post says that the problem is, as we repeat these declarations of never again, all this is directed at the genocide, but not the causes of genocide, which it calls indifference and cowardice. And so, according to the Huffington Post, unless that changes, we will continue to live, as you can see, in a century, an age of genocide.
Okay, Flo, thanks very much for keeping us up to date with all of the papers this morning.